Alright, hello guys. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tropical Storm Cristobal, which is currently in Mexico. It's basically in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. It made landfall with 60-mile-per-hour winds with very heavy rainfall. I do believe it had 998 millibars of pressure at landfall. So, it's a pretty dangerous storm, of course, with the rainfall. Now, things to notice, this is the IR current satellite. Now, you can see here the convection is kind of slowing down. We don't have that thunderstorm activity that we did before in the kind of east and west, and also in the center. But currently, the low pressure is kind of located right there. We have that counterclockwise motion to it, as you can see. Now another thing. Oh, hold on. That's clock. That's clock? No, that's counterclockwise. Gosh, jeez, I'm forgetting how to live right now. Oh gosh. Yeah. So this is what it's currently looking like. Now we do have these outer bands right here. You can also see this. You can see this is the low pressure system, and then you can see these are the bands that are going around. It's definitely having that counterclockwise rotation to it. As you can see, this is moving, and this is also moving, with some of these more outer bands starting to form around it as well. So, a well-defined system, tropical cyclone, currently in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is your current cone of uncertainty. As you can see, it's still very big, so we have a lot of time for change as well. But it is predicted to be a tropical storm when it makes landfall somewhere along the Gulf Coast of Mexico, of course. I mean, of America. Gosh. Now, we could see impacts in, Houston. It could be New Orleans. It could be in Mississippi. Could be I guess we could see a landfall even in Alabama. I think that idea is very unlikely, but, never impossible. But the thing I think it could push a little bit more west, and my theory is we do have a high pressure system that will be sweeping across the country with the clockwise rotation to it, which basically could impact it to move more west, possibly. But we'll see what happens with that, and that's why this is what currently is happening. That's why it's not going more east, and that's why it's going more west. That's why the cone looks like that. But it is expected to lose its strength as it moves over land. Expected to go down to a tropical depression before it gains strength again, moving over open waters, which will be really quick. 1 p.m. Friday, it's a tropical depression. Then we get a tropical storm, and then we have that time for it to get stronger before it makes landfall. We'll see what happens with this if it does strengthen to a Category 1. Currently, only one model is showing it on the intensity guidance for it, but we'll see what happens. Alright, now, guys, I want to go ahead and show you the GFS average precipitation rate. So you can see here, currently 998 millibars of pressure located in Mexico. There's that low pressure system. Now, what you're going to see that you see that movement, and then it develops again with 997 millibars of pressure, 998, so expected to almost be the same strength at landfall against Louisiana. You can see that high pressure system that I was talking about. When it makes landfall, high pressure system already over here. You'll see it right there. So that high pressure system did sweep across the country right there. We also have a low pressure system right here. The high pressure system pushes it more west, and then this low pressure system pushes it more northeast. So very interesting to see. But that is what it's currently looking like. Now I want to go ahead and show you guys the total precipitation that's predicted. Now you can see here the predicted amount for a lot of places could be 2 to 5 inches of rain, which is there's a lot of rain that could be falling. Even on the eastern tip of Mexico right here, we do have what looks to be possibly 24 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain, guys. It's pretty insane, but we'll have to see what happens. Now the Canadian model, you can see Canadian model currently showing it a little bit weaker in pressure-wise with 1,001 millibars of pressure. Currently in the same location. Now this shows yet again it developing, and this shows a little bit of a stronger system, 997 millibars of pressure, making landfall, and this one pushes a little bit more to the west, which I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's still around the same place. Both the GFS and Canadian model have it making landfall rather close to New Orleans, so we'll see what happens there. Now, Canadian model, the total accumulated precipitation. And the Canadian model showing a little bit less precipitation, but also still quite a bit. Still 2 to 5 for most areas. Some areas isolated will get higher than most likely 5 inches. So we'll see what happens when new models come out and new updates come out. Now, this is the wind, so you can see here. That's where it currently is. And we can go all the way back, but made landfall, then it transitions, and it actually gets a little bit bigger than what it was when it developed. And we can see some of those winds also affecting Florida, and the Florida Panhandle will be affected by these winds as well when it makes landfall. That's something interesting that I wanted to point out for you guys. Now, the European model, here you go. This is what it's predicting. The European model has it going straight up 990 millibars. This European model has it making landfall a little bit closer to the Texas-Louisiana border, making landfall with 988 millibars of pressure, everyone. So, shows a stronger system making landfall, but also pushes it more to the west, which is interesting to see as well. You can also see that it has that classic tropical storm kind of look to it, with these two I guess we can call them limbs almost, because it kind of looks like a limb. So we have 2 limbs to it that'll be rotating counterclockwise. Very tropical storm looking. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, this is what it's predicting for the wind. This is knots, of course, because, European model. So you can see we get that development down here when it returns to a tropical a tropical storm. And you'll see it kind of even grow even further with pretty good wind gusts that it's recording. You'll see that we get, this is predicting around 34 knots. This is basically 34 knots. 36 over here, another. So it's pretty high, and if we look down here, you can see that's almost getting to around middle on Pivotal Weather's kind of graph down here, which is pretty high. I don't know the conversion. Actually, I need to probably do a little bit more research into knots and miles per hour. But that's so it's pretty good, and you can see those winds affecting basically a lot of the Gulf Coast. Even Florida could possibly see some wind gusts from this as well. You'll see that it will play out here, and there we go. So this is another possibility where it moves a little bit more west and could be a little stronger, like the European model is predicting. Alright, now the tracks model guidance. A lot of models are basically in agreement that it's going to kind of make landfall in Louisiana, somewhere here in Louisiana. Now, then it also takes it up into the north, or northeast really. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's basically what a lot of the models are saying, with 2 of them saying it's going to make landfall near the New Orleans area. Really close to it. So we'll see what happens with that. Now the intensity guidance, I want to take a look. So you can see here, guys, only one model shows it becoming a Category 1 hurricane. So that's something I want to point out, because people will look at this and say, okay, it predicts it being a Category 1 hurricane, it's going to be a hurricane. That's not something I want you guys to think. You can see here that it dips and then it'll gain strength again. And that's what this model also kind of wrong with that as well, because it shows it gaining strength while it moves over this open land, which I think is very unlikely. If it does do that, this is some type of weird 2020 system. But yeah, a lot of models show it gaining strength after losing some strength. Only a few show it kind of staying the same. And then it also a lot of them show it just kind of dying out as well. But you can see basically all models are in agreement. This will become a tropical storm again. So that's just something I want to point out. Now there's one more thing I want to show you guys, which is windy.com. Here we go. Now, I want to go ahead and go down here for you guys. I want to go ahead and show you the waves. This is what I do want to... So, there you go. Waves currently in this area against the coast, 10 feet. So, we have pretty good swells currently. And I'm going to get out to where we have around landfall. So, you can see waves here, 14 foot. Lot of very big waves that could be impacting the coast. Over here, we have 11-foot waves. So that's Mobile, Alabama. Even over here near Florida, Tallahassee, you could be getting around also another, you could be having 5 foot of waves. But New Orleans, you're going to be getting pretty good waves with this. As we get closer to landfall, you can see that eventually it diminishes, but we do have those very good waves being recorded. And that's just a part of the wind and the wind gusts also, because you can see wind gusts here, 57 mile per hour wind gusts, possibly. You can see very strong system, 52 mile per hour wind gusts here before it makes landfall. We do have very well-defined system right there with those counterclockwise winds going very fast. So, yeah, that's all I really want to talk to you guys about today. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you all in the next weather-related video. Goodbye, everyone. Stay safe.